Hey, what's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all for joining us on this one and one sports show. My name is Shawnee,
My name is Dante.
and we want to kick it off. I know it's not the NFL season, but we wanted to kick it off with some NFL news real quick because now we got some big franchise tags that was happening on some couple of big names, in particular Lamar Jackson, and so the Ravens done tagged Lamar Jackson with the non-exclusive franchise tag, and basically what that means is just Jackson is still, the Ravens still currently own the rights to Jackson with the tag, but they it allows him to freely go out and speak with other organizations to see basically his worth. And if because for the past two seasons, Lamar and the Ravens have been stuck pretty much on their guaranteed money amount. I believe the Ravens offered him a guaranteed contract of, I believe, 133 million, and Lamar declined, and that's pretty much what they've been stuck at for the past 2 years. So with this non-exclusive franchise tag, it's going to allow Lamar Jackson to go out to organizations to see if there's any other team out there that's willing to offer more. If there is another team, all it takes is one. If there is another team out there that offers him more, a better contract deal, the Ravens have to be given the opportunity to first match it. If they don't match it, then not only will Lamar be free to go to said team that offered him the better contract, but that other team now will also is required to give up draft picks. It's almost like it almost works like restrictive free agent, but restricted free agent is basically money. A team will allow an unrestricted free agent can go anywhere with no strings attached. A restricted free agent can go out and test the market. If they get a better deal, their current team has to match it. If they don't match it, they go, and then no strings attached. Well, a non-exclusive tag is kind of similar, but the other team not only has to pay the contract that they agreed to with the player, but they also have to give up some draft picks now. So
Yeah, two first. Yeah, that non-exclusive. That's that two first. But I think it's one of two things, and there's no in between. It's either collusion or it's okay. This man wants 250 million guaranteed. It's one of the two, and we will never know because it's hard to get any leaks when it's only one side that's reporting stuff. Now, I'm not saying that Lamar is not feeding stuff to the media, but that's normally the place of an agent. And I will say it, man, but Money Jones has been like on point with saying that he's been saying this for about over a year or since he came into the league. Agents in that 3% is valuable from everything from they could have fought the press from fighting, running the 40. And I'm a quarterback situation in the, who is it, the old guy of the Colts, Bill Polian.
mhm.
He's a running back, all that kind of stuff. An agent fights that. An agent puts out a story, gets an interview where you're saying, "Oh, that's crazy," or shows clips of you throwing the ball, or like someone said today, now it's full on conspiracy mode with Lamar Jackson. The B-roll they were running during the Mike Greenberg show. What's it called? Get Up. I
Yeah,
think it's called
yeah,
Get Up.
get
It
up.
was nothing but Lamar running highlights. At least, and my thing is, it's not like he can't throw the ball. He hasn't thrown the ball, but all the highlights were just him running. And he was just like, so everybody's on edge. People was like, man, you reaching with this one. And it's like, is he really? Because it looks like all in a row. Everybody knows the same context. What was it? The Falcons were first, not interested. Then it was this team. Then it was the Panthers. Then it was the Dolphins, which the Dolphins got the most cover because you got Tua. They have the most cover to be like, hey, we wasn't interested. We like our guy. But the other ones, I mean, our quarterbacks are trash.
Mhm.
Absolute trash. So it's like, why aren't you going after MVP? Where he's in a bad situation. But for Lamar, I know he wants to get paid. But one thing I did want to notice was this. I never thought of it. They did the ranking. Remember when they did that ranking a few weeks ago about, like athletic training staffs and facilities and where people ranked, and the Ravens did not, who are a very, solid franchise, do things the right way. They weren't ranked that high. And if you look at their team, if you go through, I want to say their running backs have had a rash of injuries. They've had other players. They've had guys like Ronnie Stanley, who's been, perpetually hurt. They've had a lot of injuries on their team, and that's something that does get looked at when you are a player. It's just like, dang, I'm putting my ability to play my sport, to make money in your hands when I get on this training table. So if you don't handle it right, I'm screwed. And maybe that was some of what happened with, it was speculation. He could have came back and played for the playoff game. He could have came back. Or he could have came back for the game where they was against the Bengals. It would have been a big game. If they win that, then I think they would have won the division. Now I know they had the coin flip scenario coming off the injury. Hamlin situation. So injury. So, but I don't know, man. It's real interesting to see. I figured they was gonna give them the non-exclusive. I almost wanted them to just say, "Hey, man, we know what we owe you. Give them that big dog exclusive contract. They give them the exclusive tag, nobody, and then just get a deal done." Because now we got to hear about it all season. Like free agency starts in a week. Like I know Shawty was just saying, like we're not in football season, but we're always in football season. Hink, what's going on, bro? Yeah, that's the perfect topic for Hink, man. We talk about your boy getting the bag, but it's like I think part of me wants to say that they were like, you think you want this? Well, go ahead and get an offer from another team. And I think unless it got just terrible, they were going to match it instead of taking the 2 first-round picks. Because what are 2 first-round picks when you don't have a quarterback? That's just setting yourself up to get the top overall pick the next year, because you need a quarterback to make, that's the most important position. So it could have been a ploy, but all the teams coming out, that does look like collusion, and it is a bad look that we're like, hey man, we were lined up for Deshaun Watson. All the allegations and all that stuff, we were lined up.
Oh.
And then for Lamar, we're like, nah. We're good. 26-year-old.
I think I saw some on the internet was saying like the Deshaun Watson contract messed up the league. I was like, no, it didn't. From the owner's perspective, that's why they were so pissed off.
Yeah.
But all them upcoming quarterbacks who contract was, getting ready to be renewed, they were just sitting there just doing this. They was rubbing their hands together. They was loving it because they knew what was in store. Now Lamar, that's just between him and Baltimore. I mentioned, what's up, Hank?
What's going on, bro?
Man, ain't nothing happening. What's going on tonight, guys?
Sure, nothing, man. Appreciate you joining, man. We're getting to this Lamar Jackson franchise tag stuff, and I was just getting ready to mention that his main battle, because with the whole Deshaun Watson and how the other owners in the NFL was pissed off about the amount of guaranteed dollars he received, the up and coming quarterbacks who was getting ready to get the new contracts, they was loving it because they knew what was in store, and they knew they've been more successful recently than Watson, minus all the off the field stuff. So they like Joe Burrow, and they got a chance to make. They can be over 200 guaranteed. Lamar, as far as franchise quarterback, I believe he should be getting that too. But his battle is with the Baltimore, and for whatever reason, because I was mentioning in the beginning, I think Baltimore offered him. Lamar doesn't have an agent, so he'll have his contract negotiations during the off season. But then when the regular season gets here, it just stops. He don't, because he don't have, because he represents himself. He don't talk about it, and then he picks it back up. So that could be a pro and a con. But yeah, they offer him like $133 million. Of course, they looked at that as a low ball, and they literally been stuck on that offer and that amount for like the past 2 seasons. Well, and so it looked like his beef is with Baltimore and the front office about trying to get this money.
Yeah, what I heard is the contract supposed to be like $239, and 139 of it was guaranteed. of course, he left that. He said, "I'm gonna do the prove it year and do what he do." Unfortunately, he struck out. It's unfortunate he struck out, but honey, I know it hurt your feelings to see all this go down like this. I've been talking about this. I've been saying this. Look, man, is it conclusion? I don't know, brother. I mean, it could, the way it looks like it could be. But at the same time, they could still cross the picket line. I know they on a Lamar strike, but somebody can cross the picket line. We've seen people cross the picket line before back in 1987. I know you young cats probably don't realize or know about that. The Scab League, the Scab
No,
year when
look,
the old, Washington team won the Super Bowl that year and cost us
when all the
my
Cowboys players
Chicago
across
Bears
the,
Super Bowl year. What'd you say? I'm sorry. What'd you say, Dante?
when all the Cowboys players across the picket line.
I mean, it happened. That
That's
they
another topic.
they had to feed their family, baby. They actually got to feed your family, and so I think he probably should have signed it. And now it's people talking about, well, Dante got your boy Jones, Daniel Jones. I'm sorry, Dante. Daniel Jones got that nice contract, but guaranteed. They trying to reset the market now, and it started with your boy Jones.
I think
But
it's
it's gonna take
80
a couple
something.
more. It's gonna take that. We'll see what happens with like you said, Joe Burrows and the Justin Herbert contract. We're gonna see how that goes, along with Jalen Hurt. Those three contracts are gonna determine whether they reset the market or not, I think. And if
And
not, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. I tell you this, nobody's gonna get that foolish guaranteed contract like that. No, nobody's gonna do that. I don't think so. Now, I mean, it's not many Cleveland Browns out there, and right now the next dumbest team I think is the Texans, and they about to draft a quarterback, so they don't have to worry about that right now. I mean, they got at least three, maybe 4 years out of the new quarterback they're going to be getting. So who knows?
Yeah, Cleveland ownership, they was desperate. Because you remember
desperate.
Watson turned them down the first time. And I think he was getting ready to go to Atlanta, really. And all of a sudden Cleveland, consider all their history and all the quarterbacks that they've been through in their history, they finally saw that they had the roster. They just wanted a big name quarterback, and the owner was like, man, we want him, bring him, do basically by any means necessary, give this dude fully guaranteed money. And then Watson basically erased his line across that he drew across them about a week earlier, and ultimately ended up in Cleveland. But I just saw Daniel Jones. His guaranteed contract is his guaranteed dollars is 82 million. So still, it's nowhere in the ballpark. But people I
Hell
saw
no.
they were still
Hell
kind of feeling
no.
some type of way with that 4 year 160. Even some fellow NFL players was tweeting about Tyreek Hill. There was another player. They was kind of throwing shade at the contract Jones received. So his teammates was like getting on him because they throw him like, hey man, why you watching this man's pockets like that?
Yeah, but
But
they seen this man play football. They saw
yeah,
that playoff game. How it was just now, man. That ruin Saturday night. Supposed to be a good Saturday night watching football. I'm at Hooters eating wings, and it's 21-0 before I get my fries and my wings. Like, come on, man, get out of here. This is terrible.
but I tell
It's
everybody though, when it comes to quarterbacks, because they the scarcity of that position, if you think you have your franchise quarterback, now you just have to go for it because it takes. Hell, you can ask the Texans how long it takes to find a franchise quarterback. They thought they had one with Watson before he left. Now they got to start it all over again, and you just don't know. You got the New York Jets. I think they had back-to-back second overall picks for quarterbacks. Was Sam Darnold a second overall pick?
Sam
No.
Darnold. They traded up. I think they traded up into the top 5.
Yeah.
He was a top five pick, and then they had the second overall with Zach Wilson. Both of them flamed out. So just because you get a high draft pick, don't guarantee a quarterback
And
success. It's so hard to find that position. So some teams now, if they get a quarterback that's halfway productive, they be like, man, what's the alternative? And then
yeah,
once you finish in the playoffs, you're not gonna get a high pick unless you can magically trade your way to get up there. So now you start getting into them lower first round picks where all the better quarterbacks are going to be picked.
Well,
So
you
he's
can't
like,
forget
man, just go ahead and sign who you got, man.
Philadelphia's in there.
Yeah.
Philadelphia got a high
It
draft.
worked out for Philly
They are
because the questions
Super Bowl
for
champions. He was
Jalen
already
Hurts,
in the Super Bowl.
yeah, it
Yeah.
worked out for Philly.
Yeah, it worked out. That was I give Howie Roseman his props. Like he did his thing. He gonna have to
Mm,
GM his butt off this offseason because they was talking about on the radio. They were like, look, the Eagles, they lost both coordinators. You lost
mhm.
both coordinators, but you promoted some guys that you got confidence in. You're gonna have to let go of guys like Brandon Graham. And then they were mentioning the defense in the second half of the year, did have some struggles. And obviously the Super Bowl, you're facing the best in the game, so you gave up a lot. So it was just like it's some question marks. But Howard Roseman got the 2 first-round picks, and
Mm,
he pulls one out. Nobody saw that AJ Brown deal coming. Nobody
mhm.
saw it coming, and he pulled it off. So it's man, free agency is getting ready to start. So more cuts are coming. Like I wouldn't say Derrick Henry's on the block because I think the Titans know it's time to start over. And if you look at it, he is past the magic number of 28. He is 29. So you looking at we could look up next year, and it could be that ain't Derrick Henry, and so they trying to avoid that.
Well,
But
I
I end up
look
getting
here.
cut just because when you announce that trade like that, either sixth or you getting or you had to cut them.
Mhm. Well, I tell you who's going to be in the market for probably Derrick Henry. I don't know how serious they are. It might be Buffalo or maybe even Philly. They talking about drafting that quarterback out of Texas this year. I don't. That don't make sense to me. But that's what they're talking. So but I wouldn't be surprised if Buffalo don't put the bid in on Derrick Henry. Not off a lot, maybe a third round pick. I think he's at least worth a third round pick to try to get him over. And now you got a dude that's a banger. You know what I'm saying? That's going to get you them tough yards that you really need for real.
Like that's gonna,
Man,
man, the Cowboys, they
I
who knows what the
to be
Cowboys.
honest,
It's not gonna be nothing in free agency. We know that they don't spend money.
it's not gonna
They
be
don't
nothing.
spend
It's not
money.
gonna be nothing pretty. Like, and
Nah.
I know they're gonna make some cuts, but some of the moves I've already heard rumored about. I'm not liking. I'm hearing they think about bringing Tyron back, and it's like,
Yeah,
Tyron
mm,
who?
Tyron
Tyron
Smith.
Smith.
Mm.
Uh,
Well, the funny thing is, man, they put a franchise tag on the backup running back. That's how y'all
Yeah.
treat them like a backup running back. So
Well,
Why? 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 Why?
yeah, I asked the same question.
man, cause
he's the most
you
productive
can't.
player.
Yeah, you
Now,
gotta.
This is true, but I would have found a way to sign him to a nice little deal and cut ties with Zeke.
Well, they trying to make him prove it to him because this is the first time he had a season, so they want to. Okay, let's see you do this again before we offer Zeke. They're gonna have him do a super pay cut, and it's just gonna be a matter of if they want to keep him on the roster because he's just not as productive as he once was. They could draft a running back who could be more productive right now than Zeke. So it's either take a significant pay cut or like,
Mhm.
hey, 'cause they enjoy Zeke, so that's what they stuck at right now. I think if they didn't have the relationship they had with Zeke, Zeke would probably have been gone towards right now in the off season. I think Zeke would have been gone, but because
Yeah,
the way they feel about him, the Joneses, they have a tendency to, what they say, the first rule about GM, you can't don't get too close to your players because you just don't know when you have to ship them off for transactions. That's not the Cowboys. They routinely get like personal feelings towards. They happen with Romo. Hell, even happened with Dez, but they let Dez go rather quick compared to what they do to other
and
players.
happened with Ware.
Yeah,
Happened with.
yeah.
My
They
thing
just
is, Jerry has made the tough moves. To was the hardest one because I remember it's been famously told where he told him, "Look, I want to keep you, but he kind of explained it to him at
you got
dinner
that
like I
napkin.
can't do it. He got that
You got that.
napkin. Steve got that
he
napkin
drew he
store.
drew on that
Yeah,
napkin. We over here and you over there.
over
I'm like,
there.
damn.
Because that's the thing. He'll cut you, and what he does is he'll cut you, and then next thing you'll know, Dez is still at the, getting invited to games, wearing Diggs jerseys and hanging out, wearing Lamb jerseys and kicking it because he keeps it cool and be like, oh, that was them. That was Steven. So Steven's the bad guy. Will McClay's the bad guy. Everybody's the bad guy, but Jerry's the billionaire happy guy. And it's just like, man, cut all that crap out. It's a business. You don't got to be disrespectful. I didn't like the way they handled Dez, but if like he's talking up Zeke, only for them to cut him. And that's the business. But my thing is, if you're gonna cut the man before free agency starts, and let him go and find his next job. Hey, it's gonna be tough, but he gave us some good years. I heard rumored he was on the boat with some IG model. He not tripping. He not tripping.
Yeah,
Not at all.
We got him a good old titty pink. He happy. I'll be surprised they come before free agent. I think he's gonna be one of them June 1st cuts.
Yeah.
I think that's what's gonna end up happening to him. And then he gonna put some fillers out there, test mark. But he's not gonna get that money like he thinks he's gonna, and he shouldn't, because like you said, he's an undersized fullback right now. That's what that's pretty much his production, pretty much what he's bringing to the team. So we're not gonna keep paying you this big money, and this young guy over here doing his thing, man. He deserves to get at least 25 carries, a game. You get 5 and be happy.
And the weirdest thing about Pollard is, and the reason the contrast between them, normally guys that make it to this level, if you play running back, you probably played in high school, you was the best player people ever seen. All the hits they tried to get you. Then in college, you had a heavy load, same thing. And then when you get to the pros, if you're a good back still, they're gonna load you up. So that's why when you get 27, 28, you're already slowing down. Pollard actually played receiver and running back at Memphis. And even in high school, he never was the guy at running back. And that's why at times they were hesitant to give him the full load. Now he's 26, about to be 26, making $10 million without the wear and tear of a Zeke. With Zeke or even Derrick Henry, who the first 2 years, if you look at them carries, he didn't really get a lot. That's why I think he's still been productive, because them legs, he got them legs to refresh, because at Bama, they loaded him up. That was before the throw it all around the yard Alabama Crimson Tide. That was the ground and pound. The running back is going to win the Heisman, team, and we're going to play defense. So it's interesting to see that he's now getting this, but I still see the same thing with Pollard. I would have preferred to. It's a deep running back draft. Take 2 of them and take a veteran, take a cheap veteran, and like a Kareem Hunt. Let them show them the way and go on about your business with your 2 young guys. But they're gonna draft Pollard's replacement. Let Zeke go, and I want to say in 2024, Zeke or Pollard won't be on the team, and that's just because they did the same thing with this offseason with last offseason with Dalton Schultz. Tagged them, and now they got a guy on the roster, and they're gonna draft another one. Let him walk and get the compensatory pick, and I'll say this about the quarterbacks. One thing the quarterbacks don't have in their favor is they don't really play to like the union stuff. They don't really play to the, hey, I'm gonna go and get my bag and you get yours, and they don't really do that. They just sign their bags when they get them, because to be honest, quarterbacks at times are treated almost like you are the guy, but part of you're away from the team. So they know they're gonna get paid. They're not really ever really fighting. Like quarterbacks, when they get tagged, like what happened with Drew Brees, you don't normally see that. That Drew was one of the early ones where it's like, I'm great, but you still tagged me. And you don't really, now you get Daniel Jones where it's like, I don't want to tag him because he's not good enough for the tag. And so if the quarterbacks would do that, Lamar and Burrow, they should be on the phone. Well, then again, Lamar don't got an agent, which that's killing him.
He going to call his mama.
That's why, like, dude, get an agent, man. You're an NFL player, man. Go ahead and spend the money. That's okay. He wants all that money for him and his, but go ahead and spend with that.
He's worried about giving up a 10% of his salary, because and that's I think that's the main reason. But dude, you realize you're not getting no national commercials. I not see you on no national advertisement other than the Heisman House commercial. I don't see him anywhere. Now, again, locally, he may be doing all the commercials you want, but as far as on a big scale level, you're not. And so, guess what? You being a promotable, able to put yourself out there, is going to help your brand, because that's what it's all about. I think another thing Lamar needs to do is get some public speaking classes and some speech therapy classes. Same thing that Shannon Sharp did. You know, he still got his little accent. You could kind of hear it every once in a while in certain words he say, but he could pronunciate his words way better now. You know, I remember Teddy Bridgewater. He did the same thing. He didn't have that strong of accent as much as Lamar does, but they're from the same area of Florida. So
Yeah,
he went and did that and was able to, you know, better himself. Now you couldn't even tell he had that accent anymore. So I think Lamar needs to invest in himself like that and do little things. But if he had a real agent, they probably would have had this conversation already. And he probably would have been working on it already. Instead, he got his mama. His mama's probably pacified. No, baby, they just don't respect you. We gonna show them. We gonna show them. Just wait. And lo and behold, the man in 2 years he missed 11 games. You can't do that, man. You can't do that, and you're 1-3 in the playoffs. That's not gonna work. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to pay people anyway down in Baltimore. Baltimore's already shown multiple times they don't have no problem with lowballing you or not want to pay you, and that's what they do. Now, if you're a good defensive player, they'll pay a defensive player.
Yeah, that's it. They pay they defense.
Yeah,
They defense.
you getting crumbs, and you better be happy with it.
They don't have no problem setting the market for a star linebacker. Hell, when they got Roquan Smith.
Yeah.
They have no problem with that. But the biggest position in pro team sports.
Now, don't do that. Don't do
Hey,
that. Don't do that.
That's because of a desperate owner, man. That's because of a desperate owner.
No, Lamar needs to get his agent. Like, bro, I want the same guy that got this man with all these allegations that missed all these games, 200+ million. I need it.
Lamar need to go to Texas right now and let Texas, because they'll do some dumb shit like that and pay him this money. Texas will do it. The Texans will do it.
Only thing about the Texans, they spend so much time breaking their team down to free money, and then now they want to build it. They obviously when the team do that, now they're trying to rebuild, addressing every position that they can. So you go back and you get this big money deal with this quarterback that kind of kills your build down.
Man, I'm not gonna lie to you, Shani. And if this was just Madden, if I was the GM, I'm straight up giving them the bag, and I'm giving them that first overall and that 12, and we gonna build with this second round pick and the rest of the draft. And we got Lamar, we got a solid tackle, and the kid they got from Miami. And so you got a little protection. They got the first round pick, the Howard kid. I think he's from Alabama State or Alabama A&M. And they just took the kid from A&M playing guard. We're going to roll with that. Be like, hey, man, we got a little line for you. We're going to go ahead and have to spend some money and go and get a receiver. And, I mean, and kind of play with it. But I know that's, you know, when you got the opportunity to get the cheap quarterback and then go and get they can get a receiver at 12, then go get the kid from TCU or something like that. So, that's enticing, and you got the young coach. I don't know how long, you know, even though the young coach, he wouldn't be mad at Lamar Jackson. But somebody, like you said, Hank, all it takes is one. All it takes for one team to step up and be like, look, we're going to give you
what he's hoping for.
190 guaranteed. We'll give you 190 because I know he probably wants at least more than Kyler Murray. Because people was breaking it down. It's like, ooh, that Kyler Murray bag is not looking that great right now. People didn't even want that job. But, hey, it's really all it takes. All it takes is one. But
that's it. One to cross that picket line, and we in there.
Man,
but I don't know if it's gonna happen. If I was a team desperate like the Texans, or maybe even desperate like Atlanta, why not take that chance?
Atlanta, I can see. There's some Atlanta, Carolina. If I can think of there's some desperate teams out there.
I say Carolina's the most desperate. Look at the quarterbacks they've been in on. They were they were in the thick of the Deshaun Watson situation. They were in on Derek Carr. They were in on like everybody, every quarterback.
They be in on everybody, trying to get somebody to come down there and help them out. That's why they're a desperate team. They probably will pay Lamar that money. They just waited for Lamar and them to start talking. They are a desperate team.
They pimped themselves out, boy. They pimped themselves out for real. So,
but I know, because I really want to get to the next one, man. I know we've been on the NFL. I want to get to hear y'all opinions and thoughts on this whole. And it's weird because the story came out, because we only do the show on Wednesday, so we're a little bit behind because it came out like what's this past weekend, been out several days already. But I want to hear your thoughts on all this John Morant stuff, man. And I was I was looking on YouTube and I saw this clip because when it happened, especially when Monday got here, all the more opinion shows was started airing, and you saw that he was getting right from the opinionated shows, the more the talk shows, national talk shows, whatnot. You start hearing a whole lot of people's opinions on this whole John Morant stuff, and because of what Ja did, and even though the cops was looking at it, I guess because a gun was involved, it was came out, no charges was pressed. It was just basically just plain stupidity, like the youth do today. They do stuff and they put it on social media on the internet, and they get themselves in trouble, like self-inflicted trouble. It just don't make no sense. So but all you don't know, he got caught. Even though it was a quick flash, brandishing his gun while it looked like he was at a club, dancing and partying in a club. And of course, he worked for the NBA. They saw that, and that's what got the attention of all the media. And because of his decision, even his dad, his dad is known because they see him on the sidelines, but you don't hear nothing from T. Morant really. You just see him on the sidelines supporting. The main thing T. Morant is famous for because he looked like Usher. That's the biggest thing he's really known for. But because of the decision that Ja made, now you got people basically looking at T, pretty much kind of questioning his fathering skills. I'm like, okay, now that's y'all going. Ja never. I don't remember Ja getting in any trouble. He came from a good background, which is kind of the joke that people are playing on social media because, like, dude, you over here portraying this image, but you wasn't raised like this. So T obviously did a good job raising his son. But because of the decision that Ja made, it's collateral damage. Now you're getting people, now they looking at you because of this, and because your dad is kind of in the spotlight somewhat, a dim light, they gon' you're gonna hear some opinions about him as well. And real quick, I was on YouTube and I saw a video of Steven Jackson. Steven Jackson was more coming from a standpoint. And I don't really understand this particular angle. He was more upset that it was the black commentators criticizing a young black player. That whole black, they don't. Some people don't like black on black to critique their own players or not, because a lot of times they believe that you're talking more on black players than any other race of players. And a lot of times it's usually involving sports like football and basketball. And only that because pretty much black players on both sports, they make pretty much about 80% of the population of the sport. So you don't see them talking about like NASCAR because those sports don't get the attention. That was the angle that Steven Jackson was coming from. And then he was basically, at the end, he was basically telling Ja, hey, man, just keep doing what you do and whatnot. I'm like, well, it's kind of what got him in trouble in the first place. He was doing too much.
Steven Jackson is the absolute wrong person to hear in this argument because this guy is going around. I mean, he goes by the name of Stack 5 with a K in it. And if you know anything, so you already know how he's rolling, wearing all the red and stuff. So it's like, bro, you checking in when you in Chicago, even though you're 40-some years old, or you shouldn't be going to O Block. Like, you need to be in a nice hotel somewhere. So that's his own issue. Like, nah, bro, if there's any time to critique, there's a way to critique. Like I will say, I give commentators like Bomani Jones props. When issues happen with a black player and it's dealing with race, he will be like, look, you're not about to use me to come criticize him on this platform to look a certain way to paint your agenda. But there are the Stephen A's that will be like, hey, you got an agenda? Go ahead and hand it to me, and I'm going to go ahead and roll with it. So, like, I can respect him for getting on him for that. But bring it up, T. Morant. I really don't like it. I think it's a situation. hey man, I've raised you and I've taken you to a certain point. You've gotten to the point where you've got a $230 million extension. I have done my part. He can listen. He's obviously not listening to anyone. So somebody has to get through to him. And I think the fact that in the CBA, obviously he had the gun. They're trying to figure out was it his. They're trying like hell for them to figure out and say, hey, that was somebody else's gun. Because if that was Ja Morant's gun and it's either his and it's not licensed or it is licensed, either or, if he had that on a team plane, that's 50 game suspension. And I was like, God damn. But it makes sense because I told my friend, he was like, 50 games. I was like, bro, you're on a plane that's flying over multiple states. You don't know what their gun laws are. So, and I know if you I think in Texas, if you bring your gun, we'll honor your gun laws because it's the Wild West. We don't give a damn. But other states, like if in New York or especially in California, the gun laws are a little stricter. And I know they were going to LA after that. After they I want to say they went to Denver and then they played the Clippers and then they played the Lakers. And so it's one of those deals where he put himself in some hot water over nothing. Like, I know that you live in a certain way and you got the money to do it, but it's like, that's not really what you need to be doing. He does need to be criticized. Now, some of the things do need to be said behind closed doors, but in such a wide open world, it's hard to get back to that. And it's hard for young people to see that. Like, they'll put everything on social media, but then a critique, they're like, man, you could have called. Like, nah, bro, you wouldn't have. You literally out here going on IG doing stuff, multiple incidents. The 17-year-old allegedly that you beat up, your partners, or you flashing a beam pointer into the van. Of course, the Pacers are going to be like, that was attached to a gun. Because normally if you see that, you're not thinking that's a laser pointer. And now this situation, like, this is too much in a row. They brushed past the pointer thing. They swept that up for you. Then the 17-year-old kid, they were trying to, in the middle of trying to skate around that, this happened. So, like, nah, somebody needs a wake-up call to him. It's really bad. Like, he's a guy that already from some of the antics, I was kind of, my like for him was slipping. But this right here, I was just like, I can't take pure stupidity. Like, I still love his talent, but like, God dang, man, just stay on the court. Like, God, it's mad.
He talks. His game revolves around talking, but people, they don't mind that because he backs it up on the court. So if you're gonna talk, it's no different from the playground. Boys talk, but if you back it up, cool. That's what basketball is about. But him and his other teammates, they do talking too. But now he's on the talk, and they kind of. You kind of sputter a little bit, like when it comes to basketball. Now, because of all this off the court stuff, a lot of this it's like he's trying to portray an image, and like, dude, that's not where you're coming from. Why are you trying to portray this image when you you got a whole future. You are a superstar in the making. You got a nice extension. Dude, you got the world at your fingertips right now. You got a city in Memphis. You are bringing them potentially to places they've never been before. Dude, you can pretty much walk around that city, everything for free. So it's like, dude, you have the world at your fingers now. Why are you trying to portray this image? I'm like, man, come on, man.
Well, I think, John's a Murray State alum. Shout out to Murray State. I don't have to look at it's one of these things, man. You know how us as our people are. We don't want to talk about our dirt, especially in front of white folks, right? We don't want to do that because it makes us feel some type of, even though we got some bullshit we need that should be aired out, need to be talked about. We got to stop that shit. I think right now with listening to, I remember listening to Shannon Sharp a week before all this shit went down. And he told him, he said, dude, look at the people you hanging out with. Known criminals. Why are you hanging out with these dudes? Again, like you said, that's not his lifestyle. That's not what you do. Why are you dealing with these dudes? Why are you hanging around with these dudes? These dudes ain't gonna do nothing but bring you down. We've seen this shit happen too many times. Too many times dudes hang around with questionable dudes and what end up happening. I tell you, one of the most famous ones is you remember your boy that was used to play for the Raiders, Jamarcus Russell.
Oh, yeah.
That was his problem. The type of dudes he hang around with, he wouldn't go to training, wouldn't go to practices. get himself in trouble, get caught up in that bullshit, and the shit comes home to get him. Now his career is over. Never really even got started. Unfortunately, John's doing probably something much worse than he is, because his wasn't too much criminal. It's just the criminal enterprise he hung around with, right? This makes no sense to me, man. Like you said, his dad getting more airtime now than he ever did when he was an NBA player. And now his dad's got to answer the questions about what's going on with their son, knowing that son comes from a two-parent home. Dude, he's the prototypical two-parent home son that you don't see too much in the black families or even in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
And he comes from that, and he was able to be successful by getting drafted out of a small school, a high draft pick, and could have a hell of a career if he was focused, locked in where he needs to be. Instead, he rather do all this other shit, and it's going to give him some type of self-approval. Or does he want street cred? I don't understand, man. The hell with that, man. It's not what
I think it's the latter, what you just
not
said.
going to make you no money. There's no 401k in being a thug. There's no 457 or 457 raw. There's no retirement plan in being a thug. Nothing. You know what your options are? Death or jail. So why would you want to put yourself in that situation, man? When you could be doing great things, man, not only for yourself. Okay, right on.
Hey, what's going on?
Right on. Right on. Boy, black man ain't shit. Black man.
Boy, just about to booted him off the screen like that.
Cold-blooded. Hey,
that's crazy, man. I just hate to see that for the young blood. Again, he could be doing so much better, man. Especially for the city of Memphis, man. They definitely need something down there good to happen for him. You know what I'm saying? And he could be that guy. But you're gonna continue to do this, man. They gonna blackball your ass at the NBA. Yeah. Don't be surprised if you keep on the trajectory you're on right now. That's what's gonna happen, man.
Man, if this was what's his name, David Stern, still
David
Stern had hammers.
Melo reached out to him and told him when he was kind of getting into stuff. He was like, "Man, I know who you hanging with. I know who you this. I know who you that." And Melo was quoted and said, "That's what I knew. Dang, they got feds working for them. They know a lot of stuff, and they get them ex guys that know a lot of stuff,
exactly.
And they can follow you and look after you. Bro, you are a commodity. You are basically your own corporation. The NBA has built it to where the individual guy that gets so high, you are like a corporation, bro. You have to. We're gonna put you in commercials, live games, all this kind of stuff. So it's just like, they're gonna look after you. They're gonna be following and seeing what you're doing. So it's just like, it gotta happen, man.
Let me tell y'all something, man. Look, man, I don't mean to interrupt, man, but look, this whole Ja Morant situation, man, my daughters love that dude as a player, bro. But I got a video of Ja Morant. What's gonna happen when when that thug stuff wear off, he really meet a real dude? This is Ja Morant right here, guys.
But no.
That's what's gonna happen right there.
Another shit moment by Black Man.
There's one meme that showed this dude with his high pitched voice, but he was dancing, waving a gun, and somebody said that was Ja. I don't know who that dude is. It looked like that was like Dwayne Wade's son.
Yeah, it's
the way that dude was dancing.
It's crazy that this is going on, man. Again, why are you making these questionable decisions like this, brother? Because at the end of the day, them dudes ain't gonna be there for you. Soon as the NBA get done with you, they throw their hands up. Guess what them dudes gonna be doing? They gonna find somebody else to leech on to, and they gonna move on from you because you no longer doing what they need for you to do, and that's flipping the bill when we go out to eat or go out to the clubs. I head to the spot. I go on trips some more. You ain't flipping the bill. Now we got to find another a sucker to flip the bill or take care of the business for us. Yeah, he got to be smarter than that, man.
I just don't understand with the younger generation today because this whole social media, it's no different than A lot of times it's when white students voluntarily do like a. I've seen it. Hell, it happened at the campus of Prairie View one time. They will get on social media themselves under their account, do a blackface, and put it on the social media, and then like I said, it happened at Prairie View where the student was. She did it. She had an HBCU doing a blackface, and then what you think was gonna come back towards your way? And then they crying after the words. I'm like, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. I'm like, dude, what? If you gonna do anything like that, why the hell are you gonna voluntarily put it on social media on the internet when you inviting the whole world to look at it? They don't know who you are. So if they're gonna see somebody gonna put a blackface on, they gonna think you're a racist. You can sit here and cry all you want. Hell, if you want to do that, do it behind closed doors so nobody can see you. I just don't understand why people they just want to portray this image so bad that they will just throw it on social media. Once you put it on social media, it's not your people who think like you on the other side. In this case with Ja, dude, it's the whole NBA and this whole different audience that's looking at you now. They don't look and they don't think of stuff, especially the NBA. They like, man, what the hell is this? And now you got to answer, all because it's just self-inflicted. Nobody took a picture of you. Nobody was filming you. You one who was holding the camera, showing the gun, and I'm like, so a lot of times I hate, especially when the young players get in trouble, but when it becomes self-inflicted in this fashion, I have no sympathy for them. I just think, like you said, Dante, it's just straight stupidity. Like how stupid can you be? And you see stuff like this with this generation, it happens more and more because of how they are in the social media era. They just believe everything should be online. I mean, it's just like back in the day, if you're gonna do something stupid, you don't want nobody to find out. You want it to be done in the dark. Now they just put it out there. And they just take pleasure, and I'm like, and then they look shocked when they get the backlash from it, because now you done open it up to a whole new world of criticism, and you don't know what eyes are going to see it. So I'm like, man,
and you say that about social media. You expect the girls to do it, the ladies to do it. That's what they do, right? They post every goddamn thing they can. But dog, come on, man. Really, dudes? But these young boys, they doing it. They acting just like the ladies do it. They won't show off everything and anything. You doing crimes, breaking laws, and won't show that shit off. How smart is that, dog?
You're a young athlete. You supposed to show off that top model chick if you with her. You supposed to, let's go and get that. Look what I'm doing. You supposed to flex that chain. You supposed to, we out here. I got the new toy. That's cool. You supposed to flex, get your fans up after you win a game, go live or whatever. But anything they need to go follow somebody like Derek Jeter. Like Derek Jeter, I believe even in the social media age, he would have been like, nah, we're not gonna have them phones on around me. I'm about to, go get her number, go get her this. Yeah, we're gonna do this on the real smooth tip. And go follow somebody like that they can give you a little like, hey man, we're not gonna time to put the phones up. Or look what they do at the comedy show. Even it, put your phone up. Now we can't have a phone now. Or you gonna be with me? Like that's why I'd heard a lot of the players mess with some of the same chicks. They know when to be quiet. They know they know where the spots to be, and they know, hey, I can't post this on IG, but I will be seen with them, so that'll be enough. They need to kind of move different, like just change a lot of different things. But the main thing is just knowing that you are not Ja Morant. What is he? 22, 23? You're not 23-year-old Ja Morant that's back in South Carolina hanging out. No, people care that this happens, and you can't have it. You just can't let that kind of stuff get out. You can't be in around that kind of element. Like I didn't know about the background of the people he was hanging with, but it's just like it's just poor decisions, man. But man, Sonny, you had mentioned it or what you wanted to speak on, and I actually, when I got off of work, I had listened to that whole press conference.
Oh yeah.
That's whoa. That's bad. That's I see why you wanted to talk about it. I do.
Yeah, so Hick, I don't know if you've been following the whole this whole Michael Irvin story, when the whole hotel incident that supposedly happened, and because of he was accused of something, he was taken off by both NFL Network and ESPN from his Super Bowl coverage. And, that's a major project for them both to be working on. And then not to forget about, now his name is being slandered all over the place. So locally they had a press conference, because what happened was, when it first happened, Irvin and his lawyers filed here locally at a state court to have the hotel, I think it's the Renaissance, was owned by Marriott, to have them release the video. Marriott then countered that and say and asked for that to go to federal court. Federal court pretty much asked for the same thing. The deadline for Marriott to release the video was Tuesday. It didn't happen. So earlier today, Irvin and his lawyers, and also he had two. I thought it was originally three was spoken about it, but two was talking at the press conference. Witnesses and witnesses, and so basically they was going about it, and the lawyer was basically saying, like, because Marriott, the lawyer actually was invited to go view the tape. Marriott still does not, they do not want to release the tape. So the lawyer basically was just left was providing a description of the tape. And he even asked them, they're like, dude, what you think would be better, me describing this tape, or you can show it on your own? So anyway, the witnesses, they came and they spoke about it, and it's basically lining up, everything looking like, man, we don't know what happened, what did Irvin do for this lady to accuse him of whatever. So when Irvin, there was a point in the press conference where Irvin spoke, and he mentioned that, he just said, because he doesn't know what he did wrong to this woman, for that she accused him of. He doesn't know. He don't know. He say if he could know, man, he'll take his lumps and move. But I don't know, and then you don't want to tell me. So I'm over here losing opportunities based on this allegation this woman done said, and then I done lose everything currently, and my name is getting dragged through the mud. He used the illustration, which I believe fit perfectly, where he's like this. He just said he wasn't accusing her of doing anything race. Like I said, he didn't know, but he said this reminded him of the times where a white woman can just make any accusation towards a black man, and then all of a sudden these other men, these white men, will come to him, hog tie him up, drag him down the street, and then ultimately hang him on a tree. Just as a simple fact of this woman accusing him of something, basically public lynching. And I was like, this is, when he said that, you automatically knew exactly what he was referring. He wasn't calling her a racist, but the way it went out, a white woman accused him, who happened to be a black man. This hotel didn't even do no type of investigation. It was immediately, he was asleep in his room, came up there and woke him up, saying he has to go. ESPN, NFL Network took him off of his Super Bowl duties, and nobody has any proof. Nobody will say anything what he has done wrong. It is basically at the mercy of this woman's word, and he done lost everything. And that's exactly how it was back in the day. So I go look at the local news station. They got the what I like to do if it's like a store like that, I like going to their Facebook profile and just look at the comments of the general America and see what they talking about. And majority, it's a local news station, so the majority of these comments, I'm assuming, probably right here in the DFW area. And a lot of them, of course, they not many of them not black, they was actually mad and accusing Michael Irvin of throwing a race card out. And I was like, he wasn't throwing a race card. He was mentioning a truth. And to me personally, that is the exact issue about what many black Americans have when it comes to, it's almost damn near impossible for us to tell another culture about anything about something that we're dealing with, and especially race related, because they have absolutely no connection to it.
None.
No, they can't relate. So when they looking at it, they looking at, oh, you just race baiting, race card, and all this, because it's a reality for us, but it's nowhere near what they have to experience, so they can't relate to it. And that's what I was reading that in the comments. I'm like, no, he wasn't throwing a race card. He was saying something that reminds him of a time, and the way this went down, that's exactly how it is in this new era, 2023.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking about it when I saw this whole story.
It cost him a lot, and the biggest thing, the most damning thing to me, because I probably figured when he took that, when he went there, and I was like, okay, and he connected the point. I said, oh, you connected out the dots. You made a damn good point. I knew not to look at any comments because they were gonna feel like they were okay with, like, hey, you accused him of something, he didn't do it, or you're not coming out and defending or saying what he did. That's wrong. But as soon as he connected those dots, that makes people uncomfortable, especially white people. That makes them uncomfortable. They were
They were
not
just
going to.
saying they wanted to do money grabs. It was all about the
Yeah,
money grab, which it probably
yeah.
is. But once he
Probably.
mentioned that race, they said, oh, it's a
They,
race call. They started dismissing them.
and like you
Shit.
said, I wouldn't have
Mm.
talked if he wouldn't have talked and been socialized with those two guys. It would have been just her word against his, and we all know what he meant when that said. But it was two white males that he took a picture with, stepped outside. He denied drinking because he's like, hey, I got to get up early in the morning, so he didn't drink. So he was sober, and he had witnesses. And it's just like he said, do I go out and still socialize anymore? I don't know if they understood it, because I know a few years ago, same exact story about him. I think it was an encounter, a sexual encounter that he had with a woman at a hotel, and it was rumored that it was non-consensual, and then it came out to be the fact that videotape showed no, hey, what the claims were not true, and so I know that, and if you know people and it's Super Bowl week, you know who's there. He was clearly a target, and we don't know fully what happened because the woman will not say. They won't release what happened, and I think it's because of a little bit of embarrassment. I won't go into saying they're a liar or this, that, and the other, but I will say, if you're not releasing something, what are you hiding? And that's the thing, is that's what he came out and said it. And for him to step up and be like, hey, they tried to take it to federal court, that they was going to drag their feet. So the lawyer said, nah, we already put a motion to expedite. And so that his lawyer was on top of his game. So every penny he's paying him is worth it. And it's going to have to come out that, like, this has been dismissed. But I'm proponent of this. I had to get home from Super Bowl week. I had to get out of my hotel room, fly back home to Dallas. Nah, the apology needs to be as loud as the disrespect, because this is terrible.
Well, we know that's not going to happen. But look, if I was him, I would play the race card. Let's get a different set of eyes on this situation. Let's get more eyes. There's no need to sugarcoat. Ben Crump, bring your black ass down here and speak for my black ass. If that's what we got to do, that's what we got to do. I don't care about what these people in the comments say. Your comments don't mean shit to me. I'm trying to get what's rightfully mine. The money I lost, my reputation was tarnished, and now I'm embarrassed. And now my wife's probably looking at me some type of way. The man's still married. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How does his kids feel about the situation? What's their feelings? What's their emotional kickback on them? I mean, what is it? So yeah, I will pull the race card. Yes, I would. If that means I'm going to get a different set of eyes, some more people involved, then excuse me, I'm going to do it, and I won't have a problem doing it, not at all, because this is some bullshit. Again, white woman dragging this black man like he's doing this, lying on him, and put it out there. Yeah, it's 2023, and it ain't nothing changed. Just a player.
That goes back to that. Us in the black community, we will mention that. We were like, yeah, stuff. There's progress that has been made since those 50s, back in the 40s, and all those times. But there's a lot of stuff that we still deal with. But when we try to, but generally our audience, when we are trying to speak that to, is white America. They are the audience that we are trying to tell, hey man, this is the reality that this is the reality. We understand that y'all didn't have to go through it, but we want y'all to respect it and all this. But the other side though, there's many over there, they just can't grasp it because they look at everything as like damn near black and white. I mean, oh, this is not race shouldn't play a factor in this. You know, it doesn't play a factor in our stuff. It should be like if you put in the work or whatever the case may be, race not gonna play a factor. And I'm like, man, we wish it was like that, but unfortunately for us, race plays a factor. And when you try to portray that message to them, it falls on deaf ears because unfortunately it's hard to damn near impossible to tell another culture something that they never had to experience. They just can't relate to that. They think of, oh, it's only coming to you because of you doing something. If you work hard enough, you should be able to get the opportunity. They think if they think we can do what they do as far as if you work hard enough, you'll be able to tame this and all that. Your race shouldn't be played a factor. I'm like, no, that's not the reality for us.
Well, who took it to federal court?
Marriott.
That was a dumb move on their part. Because now you don't have to worry about a jury. The judge gonna make that call. So if I was Michael Irvin, I'm glad y'all did that. I only got to convince one man. That one man on the stands is the only person. Now I have to worry about a jury. Yeah,
and they're gonna see the tape.
And that was what about. And that was about.
And what they kept saying about the tape is you can barely see the interaction. Like the witnesses were like, you know, we saw the lady before. They was like, hey, we were talking with them and talking noise, you know, because one of them was an Eagles fan. So he seen Michael was just like, yeah, I used to hate you, but, you know, you still great or whatever. And the other guy, he didn't even watch football.
He was from Australia. He was from Australia.
Yeah, from Australia. So it's just
he watched a different type of football.
Yeah. And so they asked him, they said, hey, do you watch? He said, never watched the NFL game in my life to this Super Bowl. I said, dang. And so clearly unbiased kind of person, just, you know, in the mix, you know, talking to Michael Irvin. And so for him to have that, it doesn't look like, unless it's just like they said, actually mockery or something that we just not seeing. That's another part of the tape. It seems like it's an open and shut situation. And so it'll have, I think it'll be settled by the time next football season rolls around. Cause I know they love having him on first take. That is when he comes with Stephen A. That's a big success. Stephen A. even did a radio hit in Dallas Fort Worth and was just like, yeah, he loves it. He loves the energy Mike brings. So hopefully he gets that done. And you know, because I know it's a lot, man. That's a nice check. He flies out, goes to Bristol, comes back. I know he does a local radio hit every Wednesday on the station I listen to here locally. So it's like I love having Mike there to kind of give that. You know, he gonna bring that rah-rah. If you don't know, for those y'all don't know, here Michael Irvin basically does the hype videos for the Cowboys at AT&T Stadium. Like he comes on the screen, everybody go crazy. I mean, so it's like that's a lot to be that's tied to your name, and then to have something else. And he's done a lot of stuff, but he's done a good job of rebuilding it and being in a situation where he don't cross the line and go over it with some bad stuff. But this right here is just, man, your reputation and your name, it's a lot, man. That is a lot to kind of build up.
Yeah, that again, I would definitely push that card. If that's what it needs to be, that's what I need to do. I'm not worried about the people's feelings. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna sway me. At the end of the day, it's money to be had, and I'm missing out on it. Y'all messing with my money. Y'all messing with my name. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to do this, but again, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I know. I'm familiar with the story because I talked about it. I talked about it when it first happened, man. I talked between the case with the former Ohio State players. I talked about that, as well as the situation going on with Michael Irvin, man. Again, that's why situation like John Morant, that makes no sense to me, man. You got guys out here who've been hemmed up for shit they didn't do. Yet you doing some shit you shouldn't be doing that you did do, because it's obvious what you're doing. You showing it on camera, what you're doing, and who you dealing with. Now you gonna mess around. If you get caught up in a situation, they're not gonna give you the benefit of the doubt. You know why? Because your name is tarnished. They said, well, how do we know it ain't true? Because you have been participating in these criminal activities before. You have been running around with some sketchy guys before. So how do we know what was said or what was brought to our attention is not true? You're showing you have questionable decision making. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be hard. Like the boy cried wolf. Man,
yeah. And then on top of that, I remember I was listening to Bomani Jones and he was making up a good point. I know some people got big on the point where they was making they made the comparison, or he mentioned the young Dolph died in Memphis, and people were like, "Oh, that's totally different. He had street beef, this, that, and the third." But he made the point of if they didn't listen to what he was saying and the full episode, he mentioned that you've shown the willingness to show a gun, but the people that tote guns know you got X amount on your contract. You're not gonna bust that gun. Mm-hmm. So they're gonna try you just like they've tried. They try the rappers that say, "Hey, I'm from this, I'm this, I'm that." They want to see them in public. They want to try them, and then incidents happen. From Gucci Man to whoever. So yeah, you going around and carrying this image and like you like this and like that. You might go somewhere and they might try you. Like they mentioned, the best thing that could have happened to him was, hey, you about to go to LA acting like that? No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. Let's go ahead. Let's call you off the trip before you be somewhere hanging out. And who's to say he acted like that? He might not be one of them guys to be like the rappers. Like, hey, let me go to such and such project. Let me go to let's go and sit you at home and let's kind of. You need to move different and get your mind right. Like, I know that statement he got. I know that reeked of, hey, man, the PR team handed it to you. Had you put this out. That's what that sounded like, but that's fine. I mean, that's what those people are there for. He's got to realize, like, look, a lot of stuff is at stake, man, And I know people were making a joke about, with Kyrie getting dropped from Nike and Josh still being there. And I was just like, that's a case of, Nike knew what they were dealing with, but you still, when you're dealing with somebody, you're not thinking this situation is going to happen. And the situation with Nike felt the pressure. They felt the pressure from the Jewish community, and they was like, you know what? We're going to go ahead and make that move. So I don't think the two situations are comparable, but I think I saw what Nike stayed down with Kobe during his situation. Nike, at worst, they're going to be like, hey, they're going to put him to the side and, say, hey, wait till everything gets to coming. And then put it back out there because the new shoe just released, like I said, amongst younger fans, super popular. I'd say I don't know because this incident here, but he was reaching to me Steph levels of love from the young kid. Where they're gonna have his shoes, they're gonna have his stuff, and he, he dances. He dances. Steph don't really dance like that, so they love that. So he could get back on the right track. I don't want to be like one of some of these people that just want to discard the brother. Like now I want to lift him up. Like somebody posted a Facebook post of an older gentleman from Memphis holding his jersey up saying, look, I ain't going down you, ain't going to dish you. We here for you. We want you to have and be a good mentor and, role model for the people in Memphis. We need something good. Same thing you were saying. He can just from a Memphis resident, real long post. It was great. And I was like, you know what? We need more of that instead of crapping on the kid. And then, of course, under that post in some sports group, somebody was like, well, yeah, I was like, man, we not on that. We're on this brother's still something positive. So that's what I want to end the conversation on John Moran with. I want to end it on positivity. Great young player. Probably not going to be back this season or I don't know. I know they're slipping in the standings, and I know they want to win. So if they in the NBA, let's be real, they can for who they want to. They can move the chess pieces how they need to. I don't know if you and actually you older than me, so I don't know if you ever believed the Jordan gambling theory, and that was always interesting to me because I was younger.
They set him down for a year and a half for that.
Man, that one is one that I was just like, if you look at it, it sounds plausible. because I never knew Jordan actually showed up to a trial to be like, yeah, I wrote this check. And I was like, my antennas went up. I was like, damn, in 2022, 23, that's everywhere. And it's like, but you could hide stuff at a different era. But it's like they'll do what they need to do to keep their product out there. Because they got to take care of their partners. They pay TNT and ESPN, ABC paid billions for these playoff rights. That's where the real money comes in. That's why ain't no DNPs in the playoffs. If you hurt, you are legitimately hurt. So, and he's a guy that has injuries. Now they might make sure he's ready to go. Have him come out there, especially if it's a home game. The crowd gonna go crazy. And so I'm looking forward to seeing him on the court when he gets back right, when he's doing the right thing. I need him to be, if it was the episode of Fresh Prince, he was that Carlton that went to the hood. Now we need that regular Carlton Banks back. We need that Brooks Brothers, the belt on. I need you talking, and we're gonna toe the line for a little bit, and then just probably the biggest thing for younger people, damn, it's weird to say that. I don't want to say that. It makes me sound old, but when the younger generation just learning how to win the shirt off social media. See, they've had it since they were 12. I got social media when I was like 18. So learning and how to do it, because I didn't always have it, is a little easier. But for them, it's like it's always been there. That's why, you got when guys get drafted number 1 sometimes, oh yeah, they got to go back and scrub their stuff because they said something they wasn't supposed to say. So nah.
Damn.
Why are you doing that, man, like that? You did it, man.
Black David is Jesus. Wake up, Black David is Jesus.
That's why that boy had me in that lobby for so long, man. I was like, damn, man, I guess they don't want me back on the show.
Black David is Jesus. Wake up, Black David. Black David!
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
Bro, no.
Oh man,
they gonna clip that.
Man, I was like, damn, man. That's why I'm like, damn. I guess they don't see me sitting in this lobby. I've been sitting there for like 15 minutes, about 15 minutes.
He was home calling, baby. Then he woke up and had the stream of saliva just running down his face. God damn. Boy, Black David, you dead wrong for doing that. Shit.
That boy working hard over there, man. That boy had to catch up on some sleep.
Black David about to be a commercial.
You got to put that camera on, cut that camera off.
Yeah, he should have calmed down before it came up. Rise and shine, Black David.
Oh man, I was just sitting. I'm like, well, I guess you be in that lobby. The host will let you in. I'm just sitting here for like 15 minutes. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna chill here until you end the show. And I was like, I guess they don't want me back on. And I see Black Dave out there catching him up some sleep. Like, I don't blame him though, man.
Hey, you know what, Sean? He might have was waiting on for you to start slipping and fall asleep too.
Yeah, I don't blame, man. It be like that sometimes, man. Boy, be working you so much.
Sleep tonight.
Yeah. I hope I get that type of sleep. He was out of there, man. But that's pretty much. I was listening to y'all thoughts on the whole, John and all that stuff. So yeah, we all in the same boat. So that's pretty much all I have for this episode. Hopefully we'll see what happens next week or so.
I think he's gonna have to do a 360, man. He's gonna have to do a 360, trying to turn his name to something different, man. Because he you don't go out like his job. You definitely don't want to do that, man. Because you deserve better, and you got so much to give to not only to the game but to the community you in. As you can see, like Dante was just explaining, an older fan was holding up his jersey and giving him props and the shouts and praise. Man, that's what you bring to a city who needs that. You know what I'm saying? And so I John looks at this as a teachable moment and make the proper adjustments, man. That's all I can tell you.
Yeah,
Make the
that's what I
proper.
like about it though, because thankfully he didn't get in no trouble. He's just embarrassed. Okay,
Yeah.
man, use his embarrassment, use it to spark a new way. 'Cause like you say, man,
And
that dude,
they're
he has
not
the key
filing
to the city
charges
of
either.
Memphis.
And Colorado's not filing charges, so he got that taken care of. So that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
he got. They gave him a pass, but
gave him a pass.
you
But
can't do this again. Don't think that the
can't-
next city gonna give you that.
the
Leave
next
this
city
life
not gonna give
alone,
it to
man.
you, and you gotta play good. That's the other thing. If you start playing bad, you start playing good, it's gonna get further away. And that's
Because
the other thing.
that seed has already been planted. So if your play starts slipping, this is gonna give them a reason to start talking about it. It's not gonna be left on the basketball court anymore. If you keep playing, you keep playing well, they will forget about it and everybody move on. Well, if your play starts slipping, because the Memphis their season this year it was going up, but then lately it's been kind of roller coaster.
They
So
just
it's just
got
like
passed for second in the West. They showed the graphic how high they was up. Now they done slipped. Man, Tommy B, what's going on, my brother?
Man,
Tommy
y'all
will
done
slide
bored
in
that
right
nigga
within
to
the hit
sleep,
out.
boy.
He got tired of hearing that Lamar talk. He went to bed.
Oh man. Yeah, they setting that boy up.
Yeah, he
Oh
about to be a
man, that
commercial.
boy.
They said they said you niggas are getting none of this guaranteed money.
But you know
Oh
something, man.
man.
Hey, if John better get ready to have some thick skin, because when he go to opposing arenas, they gonna be on his ass. So he's got to really
Yeah.
fall back on his teammates. Hey guys, y'all
Them
see me
signs
kind
gonna
of
be
get out of
held.
line. Yeah,
Yeah,
get me right,
that
because
that
they gonna try to give me the shit. They gonna try to give me
that's
the
gonna be
field.
the small part of it, though. I think what he got to get ready for is what Gilbert Arenas was talking about: the media, him possibly missing All-Star appearances because that he might have should have made, but the voters ain't gonna fuck with him because all of that type of stuff is more what's gonna hurt him than fans are gonna be fans. They always gonna be dumb, whether you up, down, left, or right. They gonna have some dumb shit to say about you. That's just being. I don't think that's gonna be the thick skin part. I think he's gonna have to deal with, like Gilbert Arenas said, and I don't know if it's gonna be like that, but Gilbert Arenas said, and I mean, I got to take it from him because he'd have been through the shit. But he said the next 2-3 years, you're like, bro, you got to build yourself back up. And the last part he said, y'all ain't gonna like that I said this. You had to cut that hair. You're gonna have to look like a squared away professional. He said you gonna have to, you have to look like a reformed thug, like when these rapper niggas they go to court and have to have to put on that suit and them fake ass glasses.
But you
Like
know
that
what,
shit
Tommy?
gonna get your time cut down.
Like
But you know what, Tommy? I think that's one of his trademarks. You know how many young dudes out here dying for dreads to mimic Ja? Like Ja cutting his hair would be like your boy cutting his beard.
Or
Yeah, but
Andy
no,
Davis shaving his eyebrows.
Exactly.
no. Because I get what you're saying, but it's not a trademark like the beard. Like his actual nickname is the beard. So if he shaves the beard, he would literally have to find a new nickname.
Yeah, right.
But if Ja cut his hair, it'd just be like Iverson. When Iverson cut his braids, that was his trademark, but it wasn't intertwined with his brand. So when he cut his, it was like, oh shit, AI cut his braids. But it wasn't like we still knew who AI was with James Harden. If he literally cut his beard, that's literally part of his brand. Like he's branded like Anthony Davis too with the unibrow. Like that's literally intertwined in his brand. So it's kind
Hey,
of a different level.
he gonna cut it though, cause that's one ugly motherfucker.
Nigga, nigga. Listen, man. James Harden with that beard, boy, that was a face only a mother.
Man,
could
that
have,
boy
boy.
look like a Afghanistan turtle does.
Look at his pictures when he was at Arizona.
Yeah.
That boy.
Somebody put a side by side up one day. I was like, damn, bro, that don't look like the same person.
Man, like I mean, God did the feet, the face, the damn. God did.
On his way
He
out,
got that basketball skills.
Hey, when God was creating him on his way out, Moses said, "Wait a minute, God, you forgot to put a face on him." He said, "Just give him a beard."
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. But yeah, I mean, hopefully, I ain't gonna lie to you, bro, because I'm at the point now. It's so frustrating and so dumb. I damn near don't even feel sorry for him. because like this shit is so goofy, it's so stupid.
Oof.
I would feel more sorry for him if he really was from the trenches. Stop. But the fact that he ain't from the trenches and he's portraying this shit so hard is what's really got me to the point where I'm like, I can't even feel sorry for the niggas because it's stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like if that was in you like that, and the funny part about it is when you look at a lot of the niggas that's really from the trenches, most of them don't push that type of shit. Dame Lillard is from my hood. A nigga don't put
Never
in.
seen him do.
Let me put it on top of this. Not only is he from my hood, he's a fucking rapper. He don't push that type of an image. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how goofy this shit is. Because I had some friends we've been talking about on Facebook, and they said, you know, I think he's trying to imitate rappers. So like we have an actual fucking NBA rapper that don't push that in. It makes no fucking sense, bro. That's really from the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So
You can say the
even
same
like
thing
Steven
about
Jackson,
LeBron
as
too. He from
annoying
that and shit
as
like that.
fucking Steven Jackson is to me, because I think Steven Jackson is the type of nigga that just like, because he's the quote unquote most gangster nigga in the NBA, he thinks that makes him a real one. I'm like, nigga, that's like being the best player on a JV team, nigga. You don't get props for that. These NBA niggas are squares, nigga. You should be compared to niggas on the street, nigga, not in the NBA. And that's why he pushed that. But at least he came from that. Like, bro, you ain't even from this.
And
And
from
when
Port
somebody
Arthur.
else, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, Jackson from Port Arthur, Texas.
Yeah. So when somebody on Twitter hits this nigga up and go, John, why you always talking and shit like you? I forgot what they said, like you about to slide or like you on the block. Because I'm about that life. Bitch, when? Show me when you jumped off the porch, please, nigga, because every photo we seen of you, you've been like a good little boy. So please explain to me. And this is what y'all got to understand, too. And I'm sure y'all have been around athletes. I don't know if y'all been around hoopers, though, because I had to make this distinction with some folks earlier. Football players and basketball players are a lot different. It's a lot easier for a football player to be a football player and be in the streets than a hooper. For a hooper to make it to the league, you got to be dedicated. Unless you just like naturally 7 foot. Like when I talk to niggas in my hood, because I ain't grew up with that. I'm way older than that nigga. But when I talk to the little niggas that grew up with him, the nigga kept a ball. Kept the ball in his hand. I'm talking kept one. Gilbert Arenas. I remember he said the first time he met Gabrielle Union, or not met him, he actually was next door neighbors with Gabrielle Union. The first thing she said to him when they had kind of reconnected after he made the league and she was an actress was, oh, you're that annoying little boy that used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning and shoot basketball. Because he used to wake up when his dad went to work. He would wake up at the same time and go shoot. That's the type of niggas that make the league, bro. So you don't even have enough time to thug, nigga, because you always fucking hooping. That's why you're so good.
Skills training, practice,
Yeah.
multiple teams. I seen it. My brother, like he plays ball. He's not at that level, but I mean, he was defensive player of the year for his district. A lot of work. That's a lot of damn work.
But Dante, and
just on that level.
You saying that was about to make my next point. I've talked to chicks that's fucked with hoopers, and I'm talking like Mario Chalmers, like into the basket, Mario Chalmers down type. I ain't talking super. Well, no, because I ain't gonna say his name, but she fucked with. But all they talk about is all these niggas do is hoop, nigga. That's all and I'm talking about the last nigga on the bench that we think is boo-boo. All they fucking do is hoop. And that's why I tell a lot of people, because we had this little conversation in this community about the little nerd thing. I'm like, a lot of y'all niggas don't even know most of these motherfucking athletes be nerds. The ones that really make it. And we look at them as nerds because they so dedicated to that fucking craft that they damn near become socially awkward a lot of times because they're so focused on that craft.
Mm-hmm.
If you talk to some of the chicks that talk to these ball players, they'll tell you these niggas are socially awkward as fuck.
Like KD. Yeah, he's socially awkward because he's so freaking good at basketball. So that's a hell of a point, Tommy. I know we up against the clock. We gotta shut this down. So, man, I'm Dante. We are out. And anything else anybody got to say?
Nah, we good. I know they got a show back to back.
Why?
So we were
All
so
right.
that's why.
I'm just gonna say, wake up, Black David.
All right, y'all.